Hello students, today I am going to discuss about NPC, that means National People's Congress of China, and it is both for third semester major and fifth semester major. So you remember what is NPC? NPC means National People's Congress. It is the unicameral legislature of China. That means it is the single house of China's legislature. And you remember another thing, that China is a unitary government, so there is no question of state representation. So it is the unicameral legislature of China. And other important agencies of government of Chinese constitution, or according to Chinese constitution of 1982, are: second one is standing committee of NPC. That means standing committee is the permanent body of NPC, National People's Congress. That type of organization is not visible in our country or in America or in England, etc. This is peculiar for China, and this type of committee was existed in earlier Soviet Russia, and that one was no that type of organization were there in Soviet Russia, earlier Soviet Russia, but now it is existed in China, and it is known as permanent body of NPC. That means when the NPC is not in session, the standing committee perform all the activities of the NPC, because there is only one political party, and the members of standing committee as well as members of NPC belong to the same political party, and that is why whatever decisions or whatever activities are carried on by the standing committee generally approved by the NPC. And why the standing committee is necessary? Because NPC, National People's Congress, is a huge body. It consisted of more than 3,000 deputies. Members of the NPC are known as deputies, so it is hardly impossible for 3,000 persons to sit together and to perform any work systematically. So NPC generally meet once in a year for few days only. Otherwise, the regular activities of the NPC is carried out by a small miniature committee which is known as standing committee. Then another important post of China is president, but you remember that president is the nominal head of the state and nominal executive. Then another thing is there is cabinet, and the one name is there. The cabinet is known as state council. You remember one thing, that this one is standing committee, this one is the miniature NPC, and this one is state council. That means it is the Chinese cabinet, and the head of the state council is known as premier. Premier is like that of our prime minister or British prime minister, like that. So the powers and functions of the NPC, whenever you are going to write about the powers and functions, or you go through the powers and functions of NPC, you try to make a comparison between America and that of British Parliament. So the first power is lawmaking powers of NPC. So this is a normal function of a legislature. The NPC can frame laws on every aspects of China's administrative setup, along with their civil laws, criminal laws, any laws which are required for the country, that can be framed by the NPC, because there is no question of state, there is no state, so laws passed by the state does not arise. So all the laws are passed by the National People's Congress for China, and it is applicable for whole country. But you remember one thing again, that it sits only for a few days. That is why the lawmaking powers of the NPC is generally carried out by the Standing Committee of China. That means the members of the Standing Committee, from time to time, they pass the laws for the land, and that was submitted to the NPC when it will sit, when the session of the NPC will take place, and they generally accepted the activities of the standing committee regarding legislation. So here the power of the legislative power of the NPC is divided between standing committee and NPC. These type of things are not there in America or in England. Then amendment power. Constitution amendment power is also lies with the National People's Congress, generally the standing committee may also take the proposal, they may also take the proposal for the amendment of the constitution, or 1/5 deputies also may take the proposal for the amendment of the constitution, and ultimately the amendment is carried out on the basis of the two-thirds majority support. So you remember that standing committee may also propose the amendment proposal, or the 1/5 member of the NPC. So here also the difference is that in other countries the amendment process is solely the responsibility of the parliament, but here standing committees also play a very important role. Then electoral power. So it is the NPC is the highest organ of China. So NPC appointed everyone. NPC generally elected the Chinese president. Chinese president is elected by the NPC after discussion among themselves. Then Chinese premier means prime minister. Prime minister is also elected by the NPC. What happened here is also the differences. The Prime Minister of England, for example, he is elected by the people, and his party generally get majority support in the parliament, and that's why he or she become the Prime Minister. But here what happened, here the legislature, that means the NPC, they actually elected the Chinese Prime Minister. So, and after that other members of the cabinet, that means other members of the state council, they are also appointed by the NPC. How? According to the decision of the premier, that means the prime minister, others members of the state councils are also appointed by the NPC. Then judges of the Supreme Court, it is not known as Supreme Court, it is known as People's Republic, Supreme People's Court of China. So the judges of the Supreme People's Court of China or their members are also appointed by the NPC, and other judges in the lower strata of that system, they are appointed by the standing committee. So all the members of the military commission or military commissioner, they are also actually appointed by the NPC. So it enjoy a huge power of appointment. And so far as removal is concerned, those who are appointed by the NPC, they can be removed from office earlier as per the decision of the National People's Congress. But you remember one thing, that they have only one political party, all belongs to the same party. So this type of question generally not arises in China. Then power to create provinces. Provinces means these are some administrative areas, not like our state. So it is a huge country, no, but it is a unitary country. So there they need provinces, autonomous areas, autonomous regions, local institution, etc. So if necessary, only the NPC can create the boundary or can create the new provinces. They may alter the boundary of existing provinces, then they may rearrange the boundary of autonomous areas, autonomous regions, etc. Then this type of question is also not arises for the British Parliament, because British is a unicameral legislature and this type of question does not arise. The next one is power to make war and peace. Generally in other countries, for example in Great Britain, it is the Prime Minister who declare war or conclude peace with other foreign countries, or foreign minister. But here what happened, like America, the NPC generally take the responsibility to declare war against any foreign country or conclude peace with other countries. Because in America what happened, it is the president who actually take the responsibility to make war or conclude peace, but he should have to take the advice of the Senate before doing this type of activities. So similarly in China also, it is the NPC, not the premier, not the cabinet, no one. It is the NPC who take the responsibility to declare war or conclude peace with other countries. Then planning and finance. Planning is very important for a communist country. So it is the responsibility of the NPC to take all the responsibility regarding the economic planning of the country, and they have actually taken the decision of planning. They have also looked after whether the objectives of the planning are properly executed or not, all this responsibility. And finance, so far as budget is concerned, that is also passed by the NPC, and whether the budget is properly implemented or not, that is also looked after by the NPC. But you remember one thing, all these things are actually doing by the standing committee, because NPC is a huge body and it only sits for few days. Then establishment of various commission and committees. Number of commissions and committees are there for running the administration of the country. So these type of commission and committees are also established by the NPC, and they are also responsible to the NPC, and they are also have to submit the report to the NPC about their activities. Then enforce the responsibility of the State Council. That means State Council is the cabinet of China. So whatever functions are performing by the State Council, they should have to remain responsible to the National People's Congress, and it is the Premier who submitted the annual report to the National People's Congress about their day-to-day activities. So NPC is the most important and significant unicameral legislature of China. It is all powerful. It has enjoying all kinds of powers and functions, but as it is a huge body, so most of its functions is performed by the standing committee, which is the miniature of NPC. And as there is only one political party, so whatever decision the standing committee are taken, these are actually accepted by the NPC. So question of rejection is very less there. And Prime Minister, though Prime Minister is there and he is the real executive, but because of the presence of a powerful NPC, Prime Minister position is also not as significant as the Prime Minister of Great Britain or India. So thank you today.